Hello and welcome to the Million Dollar Message. This is your Fearless Friday message with Callie DeBlander Brigham, calling from beautiful Pensacola Beach, Florida. Well, happy Friday the 13th, everybody. Who's feeling lucky today? I believe that in Mary Kay, and really anywhere, but especially in Mary Kay, that a Friday the 13th is a lucky day for us, right? It's a day that we're going to be in the black. Familiar with that term, that financial term? That means when you are profitable. That's why Black Friday, that's what that means. So traditionally, for many companies, they were in the red all year, so they weren't making profit yet until the Friday after Thanksgiving. Just a little history lesson. I'm sure most of you knew that, but so we're thinking about being in the black today. We're thinking about being lucky today. It is Friday the 13th. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that. First of all, one of my mentors in Mary Kay was Senior National Sales Director Emeritus Joanne Bertolin. My mom was my sales director and then my national, but we did not live in the same place, and I was lucky enough to have Joanne as my adopted director. It's actually, you know what, I'm going to tell you the story. I love a good story. So I was living in Memphis, and I was a TV news producer. This was after college. I was a TV news producer for the NBC station, and I think I needed a new suit. This is when, especially skirted suits, too, were really in. So I went to the Limited in the mall to get a new suit. I had a light purple one. I had a cream one. I had a chocolate brown one. I had, oh my goodness. I am totally showing my age. And they used to have all of these different suit pieces, pants and skirts and whatever. So I went to the Limited to get a new suit for work. And when I walked in, there was a woman who had a Mary Kay table in there. Well, I was not in Mary Kay and had no desire to be in Mary Kay. But I did, of course, I love the company. I love the product. My mom was a consultant. So, and at that point, a director. So I went up to the table and I was like, hey, I said, I'm not going to enter your drawing. My mom's my Mary Kay consultant, but I just wanted to say hi and introduce myself. And she said, well, gosh, so you're not in Mary Kay? And I was like, roll my eyes, like, same old story. No, I'm not in Mary Kay. And she said, well, listen, I mean, this is so crazy, you guys. She said, listen, when you change your mind, so she didn't say if, but when you change your mind, she reaches into her purse and she pulls out her sales director's business card. Now, at the time especially, we all carried around business cards. It was a thing. You had a Rolodex and whatever. Well, she said, when you change your mind, this is my sales director and you need to come to our meetings. And she hands me her card, her sales director's card. I have no idea why she had it. And so I took the card and I kept it. I kept it in my little Rolodex. And I don't know, 6 months, 9 months, a year later or something, when I did decide to get started in Mary Kay, my mom's so excited, and she says, now we need to find you a sales director. Well, at the time, there were like 40 sales directors in Memphis, and there was this sales director finder on InTouch, and you would look it up, but you didn't really know much about anybody, except for what kind of car they drove. That was all you knew. Well, the year that I joined Mary Kay was the year that my mom would go on to earn her first top director trip. Well, that was also the year that Joanne would go on to earn her first top sales director trip. So they weren't even trip directors yet. They didn't know each other because of that. And by the way, I take full credit that the year that I joined, that I helped both of them earn their trips. Anyhow, so my mom says, we need to find you a sales director. And I go, I think I already have one. And she was like, oh, okay. And I grabbed the card and I called Joanne. And that is how Joanne became my adopted sales director. How amazing is that, you guys? Anyways, talk about luck. Well, Joanne used to always say, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Because I would look at some of these women and think, gosh, why are they having these recruits? Or why is this happening? Or why is this, why them? Why not me? Why do they get so lucky all the time? And she would just remind us that it was a numbers game. People aren't numbers, but we work the numbers. That she was consistent in what she did. I mean, she was a dog on a bone in this business, you guys. She was such an incredible example of work ethic. And so was my mom in her way, too, in her relationships and her again, her consistency in every single day working this business, that's why they got lucky, if you want to call it that. So I wanted to start with that story. The next thing I want to share is one of my favorite examples of what actually also is luck. Like, how do we look at luck? So my question is, do you consider yourself a lucky person or an unlucky person? Well, one night I was watching, I don't know, maybe it was like a 2020 or one of those shows that, really has lots of different topics. And this one was a social experiment. And probably the name of it was, Are You Lucky? Or something. And they took two groups of people and they put them in different scenarios, and they would film them like with hidden cameras. So the people didn't know what was happening and they didn't know when they were being filmed. But they had two groups of people and they wanted to see, are there really lucky people and unlucky people? So the first group of people, they had walk down the street. And these were the people that would consider themselves unlucky. Well, they placed a $20 bill kind of on the street and they just filmed and see what would happen. Every single time, the unlucky person would walk right past the $20 bill, not even see it, just right past it, go on their merry way. Then they did the experiment again, and they had the group of lucky people, one by one, not knowing what the assignment was, walk down the street every single time. The lucky person would spot it. They go, $20. So they have the same circumstances in front of them, exact same. Why did one group see it and one group didn't? Is it luck or is it awareness? Is it being in the moment? Is it anticipating something? You guys, one time I went to this fundraiser and there was a raffle. And it was like $20 to enter this raffle, and it was for a good cause. And so I was like, yeah, I'll give $20. So I gave $20, and I said to the girl, remember my name because I'm going to win. And I looked at her and I go, I always win. And she goes, you do? I said, no, I don't always win, but it's so much more fun to say that you always win, right? So I was like, yeah, I always win. And so she was like, okay. Well, the next day, I get a phone call. And the girl says, okay, you're not going to believe this, but you were the winner. And I said, oh, yay. Which one of the things did I win? She goes, no, you won everything. She goes, it was one driver. You guys, it was of like $2,000 worth. It was hotel stays, restaurant stays. I was like, well, it's so much more fun to say, I always win, right? Okay. The second scenario that I remember from this social experiment was they would just observe people in a coffee shop. Like, what happens to them? So the unlucky people, not much. They go in, they sit down, they do their thing, then they leave. The lucky people, all kinds of stuff. They'd be sitting there, and the barista would come over and say, oh, I made this extra drink, and by accident, do you want it? Oh, yeah, sure. Or they'd strike up a conversation with somebody, and that person would say, gosh, this is crazy, but I have these extra free tickets for the show tonight, and I don't have anybody, would you like them? Oh, yeah. Or somebody would say, I just finished this novel. Do you want to have it? And the interactions were incredible, and these people were getting all kinds of free stuff and just, so lucky, right? But if you watched them, when they walked in the coffee shop, they were smiling. They complimented the barista, and they thanked them, like, genuinely. They didn't go sit in a corner like the unlucky people did and not look at anybody. They'd sit right in the middle and make eye contact and look up when the door was open and tell a woman how cute her baby was, or ask that person, hey, I need a new book. Is that book any good? Are you enjoying it? So I hope you get what I'm laying down, that $20 bill that I'm laying down. Are there lucky people and unlucky people? I mean, I guess you could, maybe some people think there are, but I think there are people that are aware and anticipatory of their life. They're friendly, they're genuine, they ask people about themselves, they make eye contact, they put themselves in a situation that's going to lend themselves to something good happening. So today, on Friday the 13th, I want you to remember, the harder you work, the luckier you get. So let's work hard today. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a little challenge. I'm going to give you a challenge to do 13 of something today. So I'm going to give you a challenge to make 13 bookings. I'm going to give you a challenge to add 13 new customers to my customers. I'm going to give you a challenge to sell 13 items. I'm going to give you a challenge to make 13 new friends today. It's up to you. You pick your 13. And just know that working those 13, I would love to hear what happens from that. And also know that even though some people might think there are lucky people and unlucky people, I think you can decide today that you're going to act as if you are the lucky person. You can go around your life saying, I always win. All right, make it a great Friday and a great weekend. Bye-bye.